What's up, everybody, and welcome to Sinister Street. And most of all, happy Valentine's Day for everybody. And if you're alone on Valentine's Day, you can join us. We're going to talk about a movie. I'm your boy, MetalGhosty, and I'm here, of course, with Kevin, aka the OccultDuelist.
That me.
And today, we're going to talk about a very fitting movie for this particular day in which this is releasing, My Bloody Valentine. You've probably already seen it in the title, and of course this isn't the remake. We were gonna do that one at first, but then we were like, why not start with the original one first and then maybe do the other one later? Makes a little bit more sense. So, My Bloody Valentine is a Canadian slasher flick released in 1981 or 1980? Yes, 1981.
1981.
Not a January movie, a February movie, of course. It was released a few days before Valentine's Day. Not sure why, not on the exact date, but I don't know. So, this film has a bit of controversy around it, at least at the time, because there were a couple things cut from the movie at first. Yeah.
Almost every single important part, actually.
Yeah.
Like every single kill.
Kind of strange.
In a slasher movie, that is pretty much why you're watching it in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm assuming, at least.
Yeah. Well, we just looked up the reasoning for it, and one of the reasons is that the publisher, Paramount Pictures, was already getting backlash for releasing Friday the 13th the previous year, because I guess it was too violent. I mean, this movie is a bit more violent, I'd say, than the first Friday the 13th. There are a couple pretty gruesome kills in here, actually.
Surprisingly well done for...
Yeah, for that. But we'll get to that. And the other reason that they were cut is that the same, or the year before, actually, in December of 1980, John Lennon was killed. Not sure what the correlation is between John Lennon and this movie, but sure, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, what did you think of the movie overall before we get into it?
Well, it was surprisingly good, honestly.
Yeah, we were going into it thinking it was going to be pretty crappy, maybe because it doesn't have a very good rating. But I actually think it's pretty alright. I mean, it's not that original, it's just a fun movie to watch. I think the low ratings are because it at first did not have the kills and whatever, the important footage. Which is understandable.
Yeah, like, if you watch the movie without those scenes, I feel like it wouldn't really make sense at all.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Every single death is cut out.
Yeah.
Which makes it, I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, actually, because when we were watching it, every time... Or let me just say, there was a version released almost 30 years later in January of 2009 with the actual killing footage and whatever. Of course, not actual killing, but you know, the footage of the people being murdered in the movie. And we watched that version, I believe. I'm not sure if there was another version after that, but we had the kills in the movie, which was pretty cool because once the other footage started playing, like the kills, you could literally see the screen getting more grainy because it was cut in, which was pretty, well, I don't know. It was alright. It was just noticeable. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, with the kills, it was pretty good. So
it was your typical slasher movie with a Valentine's twist, so to say.
It had a lot in common with movies like Friday the 13th, especially the first one. Because it has the gimmick, like the day, Friday the 13th and Valentine's Day. And, of course, something happened a long while ago on that day, which made the killer in the movie mad. And we'll get later to who the killer is and what happened in the movie. Because that's also something it kind of has in common with Friday the 13th, with the twist at the end, although it was pretty obvious, especially like halfway through, you could kind of see it coming. So yeah, I want to go into the story.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so of course it all starts around Valentine's Day. I'd say, how long before did the movie start? Maybe like a week?
February 12th.
Okay, so 2 days. It
was the intro.
Yeah, okay.
Basically.
So the story goes...
It also starts kind of like a Friday movie with a completely random kill, pretty much. Like, all the Friday movies seem to have, like, this starting kill before the opening credits. Not sure if you ever noticed that. Which is something that this movie also did.
It became kind of a staple later for the slasher thing, I guess.
Yeah, like, this movie is pretty much the start of the slasher era, with movies like Halloween being released not too long before that, and obviously Friday the 13th being released a year before this.
A couple years later, of course, Freddy and everything. But yeah, so What?
You said Friday again.
I said Freddy.
Oh, Freddy! I thought it was just Friday. Makes a lot more sense.
So the film starts with this random lady being killed off in the mines by the killer, and this killer for most of the movie is called Harry Warden. Warden? I believe so. So
Warden was like the miner that was trapped.
That's the backstory, and then Friday it's like, oh, it's the kid who drowned in the lake, but here it's the grown ass adult who was covered in shit, or no, killed. Not necessarily killed. His back was killed by an explosion in the mines. You know how that goes. It just goes all through, and he was the only one that escaped it alive. And after that, for some reason, he's angry and he starts killing everyone.
No, he killed he did kill more people.
At least in the hospital.
Goal was to kill the 2 supervisors who pretty much abandoned them and weren't paying attention to how dangerous it was in the mine and went partying.
Well, okay. That's kind of weird because I feel like he kills everybody except them on screen. Not sure.
No, he killed them. He killed them on screen. Like, that was actual Harry. He did that, like, before everything happened. It was pretty much a prologue. You can... in the very first scene, they were talking about 20 years without this dance. Because at the dance, Harry initially appeared and he put those hearts of the supervisors in these boxes.
Okay, so that's kind of the precursor. Okay, I didn't really catch that, but sure. So this year, 20 years later, there are teens in this movie, which are obviously not teens as actors. But alright, we'll go with it.
They aren't supposed to be. In the remake, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be. But these guys are early 20s, so not necessarily that much older, but...
Are they supposed to be that? Because they definitely weren't that. I feel like most of them were at least 30.
Yeah, in the remake they are 30, but...
And this one, I mean...
Only what was his name again? The big guy with the glasses.
Oh, with the mustache?
He looked a lot older than
what was
all
his
the
name?
others.
Can't remember his name.
Something with an L, I think.
Sure. I can only remember a couple names.
I can't remember most, but I don't know. His name was kind of weird. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, anyway. So, of course, the main group of people want another party or a dance or whatever. And, of course, the main guy at the bar, or not really the main guy, just like the one who was telling the... about the curse of Harry or whatever. He says no, you can't do that because Harry will come and destroy everybody. And they're like, haha, fairy tales. And then they want to do it anyway, and in the end, they do it, and the guy's like, I warned you.
And then he fucking dies.
Yeah, it all goes wrong pretty quickly, actually. The first victim of the actual group, isn't it the older lady, the grandma?
Yeah, Mabel.
Mabel.
That's her name.
She got wrecked pretty quickly, which is pretty
A
sad
surprising
because
first death, honestly.
yeah, because
Like most of the slashers in that era would like basically only kill off teens, I feel like. And then they start off with this innocent old lady.
Yeah, that was pretty. Like there are a couple people in this group that are like, to an extent, pretty scummy or just dicks. But then this old lady who literally did nothing wrong just gets killed. This is pretty sad. So she gets killed in a pretty gruesome way, I'd say. She gets put into a dryer. It's pretty intense, the kills. They were pretty well done.
Yeah, I like the kill with Mabel in the dryer and then the old guy with a pickaxe through his head.
Yeah, but that's a little bit later. Like,
yeah, that's the second kill of the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because after... Well, I want to talk a bit more about Mabel's death because he kind of like distracts her with a box of... Did he... I believe he did distract her with a box of chocolate. Of course, it was fake.
Like a poem in it.
Yeah,
like,
I can't remember the poem. It's like something like, "Oh, you're gonna die soon" or whatever. And then
it was something on the lines of something was dead and so are you.
Oh yeah, something like that.
And then he randomly appears.
And then she gets just wrecked. She gets dragged across the room, and then in the end we find out she's in the dryer. And once she gets the police guy opens the dryer, it's pretty like fucked what you see because the dryer is actually turning around, like, and the body's in there, so the head's just flopping all around in the torso, which is pretty intense. And it didn't look that shitty. It looked pretty alright for a movie from 1981. In my opinion.
Yeah, like we claimed before, the kills are well done, not only in how original, I guess, they are. Kind of fucked to say something like that.
Yeah, there are pretty... a couple original kills in there. But yeah...
honestly, like a mining killer or something with that costume, honestly. That's
Let's describe the killer for a second, because we haven't really done that. The killer's pretty much just a guy in a gas mask. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Yeah, like
it's not
he has
really
a mining outfit with a pickaxe and all.
Yeah, that's his main weapon of choice. He has a pickaxe. Man, this movie's pretty much just Minecraft. Let's just keep it at that. So after this, the police find her, and I believe they don't tell anyone at first because
they say she died of a heart attack because they don't want people to think that Harry is bad.
Yeah, they don't want to cause a panic, which is, I guess, to an extent understandable. But why? Oh yeah, I mean, the kids like organized this party themselves. It wasn't authorized by the police or the government or anything, but they did it anyway. So they didn't know about it, otherwise they probably would have banned that party instantly. But of course that happens anyway, and the bar guy who was telling about the Harry Warden in the first place, he's like, "Oh, goddamn stupid dudes, you can't do parties here." And he tries to fake them out, just jump scare them with a fake Harry with a pickaxe. So if they'd open a door, a pickaxe would swing up, which is a pretty intense prank if you ask me, because that could potentially hurt someone for real, because it was a pretty like distant slide it did with the pickaxe. But yeah, anyway, that's fake, and he opens the door a couple times to test it, and then at the third or fourth time, of course, the real Harry Warden, or we think it's Harry Warden. Oh, we'll come back to that later. Of course, he comes there and he kills him, and this is a pretty intense kill. He like chops him with the pickaxe like into his like face from underneath his jaw up through his head, and it pokes his eye out, which is a pretty intense kill. The special effects look also pretty good in this one. Maybe it helped that the footage of this was pretty grainy and bad quality because it was the of course the banned footage. But yeah, it looked fine. I mean, if it was very crisp screen and whatever, I think then it might have looked a little bit more fake. So that might have helped it a little bit. But it looked good. Pretty intense kill again.
Yeah, most of like the main death scenes in slashers of that era were like off screen or basic stab stuff.
Yeah. And then what happens then? Yeah, let's talk a bit about the main conflict the characters have with each other. There's this girl who had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend went away, and then the girl got a new boyfriend. The old boyfriend came back, and now they kind of have a love triangle thing going on where they both want to get with the girl, but of course the girl's like, what do I do here? And she's kind of not sure what to do. So that's the main issue with the characters. Then there are a couple more characters, a couple NPCs, if you want to say, like some not really interesting characters. And then there's this one character. I want to rant a bit about this one. Fucking Howard. Holy shit. Howard is the most annoying character. He's the Jar Jar Binks of this film, I said when we were watching it. He was so annoying. Like, he was supposed to be like the comic relief of the film, but it just did not work. He's like a 30-year-old guy in real life, and maybe I feel like he was supposed to be like 12 in the film, like with the things he did. Like, for instance, the older guy, the bar guy, was talking about, oh, Harry Warden, look out for him. And then all of a sudden, this Howard guy comes from under the bar and he just goes, like, bro, what? Why? It's just stupid. And he does all that kind of stuff all the way through the film, like fake jump scaring them, or just being stupid overall. At one point he just snorts coke, and I don't mean actual powder coke, I mean like Coke the soda, the Coca-Cola. He snorts that and it's like, alright guys, I'm going to snort some coke. No, he fucking snorts it, and then he's like, oh my god, blah blah blah. Like, of course, what the fuck are you doing, dude? What? Like, how is that funny? I mean, maybe I just don't get it, but it's really weird to me. Very annoying. Definitely the worst part of this film. Then you have the big guy, I forgot his name, the mustache guy. Hollis?
Yes. I looked it up real quick.
Okay. Hollis, the big guy. I don't know, this guy is kind of easy to convince, I feel like, because well, we'll get to that later, doesn't matter. Are there any more notable characters? Maybe like the police guys, but the police guys are just the standard police guys, don't do much for the entire film.
We've covered like the love triangle.
Yeah.
I don't know, most of the other characters are pretty much just there to be victims.
Yeah, to keep
pretty simplistic.
To keep the body count up. But yeah, so
we have you have like the girlfriend of Hollis. I feel like she's decently notable. She didn't really do much, but
the brunette girl.
Yeah, her name is Betty, I think.
Something like that, yeah. But even she's just there. I feel like
she exists.
Yeah, that's all that's to her. She kind of acts as like the best friend to the main girl in the love triangle. Like, oh, just choose between them, and they just talk about it. That kind of stuff, you know. Just the best friend of the character. So the bar guy was killed, and after this the party is still going, or maybe it's just starting. I can't really remember. And then of course someone gets killed at the party. Someone goes to check on the food, and his face gets pushed into the pan the pot of boiling hot water, and his face gets all burned. And this looked pretty alright as well, I feel like. I mean,
kind of simple. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that would look in real life, so I can't really judge.
I mean, burns.
Yeah, but to what degree? No pun intended. Would it get fucked up? You know, it's kind of weird. But then he just gets put into the fridge. With this pretty cool scene with that later.
Yeah.
So yeah, after this, of course, more drama between the three guys. They I believe they almost fought for a bit. The two guys and the girl, and I believe
It's 1980. They don't do that shit at the 1980.
They did hint at it at the beginning though, with the first heart box.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny. But after that, they fought a little bit. One goes outside and is a little angry, and I believe it's at this point that two of the NPC characters go to. I'm not sure what it is exactly, like a barn or something, so with like all these clothes hanging up.
it was basically like the clean spot with the. They clean the clothes of the miners and showers and stuff.
Yeah, that place, because all the guys are miners. Let that be clear. So they go there to like snuggle up, and I believe it's like, oh, do you have it? The girl said, and he's like, oh yeah, I got it. He takes his wallet and pulls out a condom, and she's like, no, I meant the beer. So the guy's like, oh sure, I'll go get it right now. So he goes and gets beer, and of course then the girl's alone in this place and gets killed by the mysterious killer. And then then the guy walks to the party with the rest of the guys, opens the fridge, and this is a pretty cool shot, I feel like, because it's a wide shot. He opens the fridge and is talking to some other people, so he's not looking into the fridge where of course the body is from the guy who got his head burned. And he just grabs the beer and closes it, so you, the viewer, see it for a bit, but no one else noticed it yet, which is a pretty funny filmmaking little thing. I feel like I enjoyed that bit. And then of course when he comes back, he sees that the girl's dead, and he gets killed right after. I mean, of course.
No, he didn't get killed. He lived through the end of the movie.
Oh, did he?
He started. He was like the guy that would ran screaming into like the rest of the party, saying that she was dead.
Oh, okay, then I'm
and then
remembering.
This other girl was talking like, "Oh, Dave's dead. And
Yeah.
you probably already forgot who Dave was at that point, but
That's the guy in the fridge, right?
yeah, it's the guy in the fridge. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's the first time you actually hear his name.
Yeah, I didn't know his
We're
name.
supposed to know who it is. We're supposed to care. But
Yeah, there are a lot of random characters. It doesn't even really matter. So at this point, they're all... Oh, fuck, we forgot a bit. Because before this, a couple of the people, like the main girl who's in a love triangle, her best friend, and... What was his name? Hollis?
Hollis. The big guy, yeah.
They go into the mines. But were they only with them three, or was... No, fuck,
No,
Howard went with them, the annoying guy.
Yeah, and the other two randoms. Like, they
there were two randoms. Another couple. They went into the mines because they want to look, and there's this quote like, "No, you can't do that. You know the rules. No women in the mines." It's just like, I guess, pretty old-fashioned. I guess these days it wouldn't really matter anymore. But that was a pretty funny thing for us now. But they go anyway. They're like, "Oh, we'll be right out," and of course it doesn't go right. They go down there, and the couple, the other NPCs, they go to a different room to have the sex, and the others just go like that. They're like, "Oh, we'll be out in like, I don't know, 5 seconds." And did they get killed immediately there, or?
Hollis.
No, not Hollis. The
No.
the
He went to check on them later and found them dead.
Okay, so we don't really know if it was immediately or there was a little bit of time.
Well, there was a little, a very small scene where you saw them doing their thing.
Yeah, a
But
little.
not explicitly because, I don't know, the Canadian.
Yeah. So yeah, after this they want to go back up out of the mines, and they did the other two guys go into the mines first, or did they want to leave first?
What do you mean?
Like the people inside the mine, did they want to leave first, or did the whole thing happen with like, oh, she got killed, we need to get out of here, above ground? Did that happen first, or did they want to leave first?
They wanted to leave like immediately. Already, they were only supposed to be there for a few seconds.
Yeah, okay, so they wanted to leave, and I feel like right
then,
after that, the boyfriend of the girl who got killed in the changing room thing came back into the main party room and was like, oh, she's dead, we all need to get out of here, Harry is back. And then the main guy, TJ, the one in the love triangle, and Axel, I don't feel like we said their name at all until now.
No.
But they're like, oh no, the other ones are in the mines, we need to save them. So they go together into the mines to save the others. And it is at this point that TJ finds them first. And this is what Axel was going to check on the two people who were having the sex underground.
Very conveniently, of course.
Yeah, and he finds them dead and gets killed off in a very interesting way. This is a part I didn't really like. It was very, like, unlogical. That was really weird. Because he gets nail-gunned in the face. Like,
twice.
Twice. Once in his, on the side of his face and once between the eyes. And he just walks, like... How long did he walk? Like a solid, like, at least a couple meters. I feel like maybe like.
He walked all the way back.
Yeah, he walked all the way back to where the guys were, and right then he fell dead on the ground. Like, oh, okay, now I'm dead. Like I know there are instances where like people, their heads get chopped off or something, and they're still alive for like a little bit, but this is like very extreme. That just doesn't happen. But what are you gonna do? It's a slasher film.
Yeah, they only made it so the other girl could see his dead body, so she could be annoying for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, so they see him. Of course, the girlfriend of this guy is freaking out, and the main girl is like, "Oh no, we need to leave," because it's at this point that they actually see the killer coming towards them, and then what's his face? Howard runs off like an idiot, and the killer follows him for some reason, because I don't know.
He wants to kill him just as much as we wanted him dead.
Yeah, they did. Oh, he got a pretty gruesome. Well, they go off screen for a little bit, and the others.
Yeah, he's mostly his death is mostly off screen.
Yeah, his death
like,
was
pretty much only his the body reveal.
His death was pretty.
It makes up for the fact that it's off screen, though.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, so well. Anyway, we'll get to it in a sec, because at this point Axel finds the what's left of the group and the dead guy, and they're like, we need to leave right now. So they leave. They climb a ladder or something, and I'm not sure if TJ's already back with the group at this point. I believe so.
Yeah, they were. Axel hit him with something. I don't really know what it was, but it was funny. Like, you saw like the camera was in the back, and you saw both of them on other sides of the wall between them. And they heard DJ coming, and I think it was a log.
Oh.
But anyway, they reunited.
Okay. And then they wanted to leave.
But
so
wasn't Axel supposedly dead too? Like, he supposedly fell into the river. Has that already been done at that point?
I'm not sure anymore.
But anyway, they try to escape, but they see Howard falling down.
Yeah, Howard's body is like stuck to like this rope thing or whatever, and his head pretty much just snaps off, and his lower body just falls all the way down because they were climbing up a ladder. And this scene is pretty, I mean, not really intense, but pretty like almost like pretty realistic. I feel like, of course, not the headpiece. The headpiece looked a little fake, maybe, but the body that was falling down, that's like as if real. I feel like it's not really. Didn't look fake to me. That one was pretty cool kill, I guess. A pretty unique kill, maybe.
Well, at the end of the day, it's just death by hanging, or at least that's what we're supposed to think. That he's not really killed on screen.
Yeah, because he
just
was
gets
already
revealed.
dead, and I'm not sure why at that point the body snapped off, but it happened. Maybe. I don't know, they were climbing. And right as the body was falling, they immediately went down the ladder again. Pretty strange.
Yeah, I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, it was honestly, it felt like, again, just about convenience.
Yeah.
Because they could have very easily... Well, they wanted to get down the minecarts because they thought it was safer or something.
Yeah, maybe. But then
But,
at this point, there are only 4 people left. So
Yeah, you
two-
had Axel,
two-
Patty, the girlfriend of Hollis, being one of them.
and TJ.
TJ, and then his ex. I don't know. I honestly forgot her name
the
too.
main
Sarah.
The main girl, right? Yeah, so 4 of them left. What happened to Patty?
She got killed next to the other girl. Like, very anticlimactic.
I can't remember that bit.
Seriously? She just fell. She looked at the killer for a second and was like, "Oh, I'm dead now."
Oh, fuck! I can't remember that anymore.
Huh.
But anyway,
Well, I don't blame you. It wasn't noteworthy at all.
well, in the end, there are just 3 of them left. Of course, the love triangle are left, and then TJ, or no, wait, Axel. What did he do? Because he went away for a bit, right?
Yeah, Axel fell into like a puddle of water before what's her name? Patty got killed.
Yeah, okay.
Because
I
at
don't
this
really
point they were
remember this
they
part.
were running away from the killer, like obviously because he's supposed to be the killer, but little did they know that the killer was with them and he
Yeah.
drowned, and then conveniently the killer appears right after that.
Yeah. So in the end,
you all get
TJ
it
and the
from there.
killer are fighting, and TJ wins by pushing him into a barrier, and he knocks down the barrier, and all these rocks fall onto him. And no, I believe it's a little bit before this point where the mask is hid off his face, and you can see that it's Axel. Very, very unexpected, of course. I didn't expect it. I was like, whoa. I did expect it. We all did. Everyone did. And
Well, when we were watching the movie, you were expecting a lot of different people up until the end, though.
yeah, but when everyone gets fucking slain, like one by one, and there's just a point where you're like, okay, there aren't that many people left. Like, who could it be? Because of course, at this point, it wasn't Harry. Because the police, the entire movie, are trying to find out if there are any records on him, and it turns out that he was dead for 5 years or something, or. But yeah, so it was Axel, and Axel says something strange at the end because, of course, he lived through the stampede of, or not really stampede, of the barrage of fucking rocks falling onto him. He survives that, and he's like, "Ooh, you are all gonna die. I'm coming, Harry," which is strange because Harry is dead. But yeah, he also right before this cut off his arm because it was stuck between the rocks, and he was pretty okay with that. He didn't seem to have any pain from that. But
He thought it was kind of funny himself.
it
He was
was
laughing like a fucking maniac.
Yeah. But then the movie thought this was the perfect time to give us some information about it, because it's like, oh, he's in there, but it's not Harry, they said to the police, because the police was just there very conveniently, and then it's like, of course we know it's not him. Harry has been dead for 5 years, and it's like, what? Okay, great that we know that now. And then it's like, but who was it? It was Axel. And I'm like, oh, but of course, Harry killed Axel's father when he was a kid. Oh.
Okay.
I mean, pretty cool exposition after everything happened. I mean, they could have set it up cool and made it an actual good twist at the end. They didn't though. But yeah.
Like, even now, after we knew that was the case, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, oh, he killed his father, so he randomly impersonates Harry and kills people as well. Like,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense.
I guess that he has a grudge against TJ and maybe the annoying Howard guy. But the rest, why? You know, he didn't have any beef with them. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, he just wanted
strange.
to, I guess, be like Harry and kill everyone.
But why? It feels so random. It's like, what? You just
I feel like it was
no setup for that at all.
something that was changed last minute or something.
Yeah, I feel like
They initially wanted to make Harry the killer, but thought like, oh, let's make a twist ending.
Yeah.
And they just came up with this half-assed.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it doesn't ruin the movie for me, but it makes it so that it doesn't
work as well.
I don't know, it was just kind of disappointing to me. Still a good movie though.
It was alright, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was alright. I mean, it wasn't great. It was alright.
It's a slasher. That's what you expect.
Yeah. But even for a slasher, it wasn't that great. Like, A Nightmare Before... A Nightmare on Elm Street was 100 times better. A Nightmare Before Christmas probably as well. I haven't seen it though. But,
How dare you?
but yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah.
Not good, not bad.
What would you give it out of 10?
6.57, something along those lines.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
It's definitely something I recommend watching during a holiday, or during just any holiday, during Valentine, of course.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of slasher movies.
Yeah.
It's not a must-watch, it's
pretty
but
cool.
I definitely feel like you should see it if you're a slasher fan.
Yeah. Maybe watch it with your girl, boyfriend, or whatever, if they're into it as well. Or not. I don't know. Do whatever you like.
Yeah. We can't force you.
Go now! No, but yeah, it was alright. Yeah, I'd say like maybe a 6.7, something like that. It was alright. I wanted to say something else. Not sure. Yeah. Maybe we haven't mentioned it that much, but the killer, of course, puts all the hearts of the people who died in these heart-shaped boxes, these chocolate boxes, and just sends them to
Heart-shaped
everyone.
books.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that that's really like a thing. Like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, they do that, and I don't know. That's how it mainly ties into it, because maybe how we explained it, and maybe didn't have much to do with Valentine's Day, but that's mainly the thing. Another thing he did, which I found kind of strange, with the first kill with Mabel, the old lady, the entire room was like covered in hearts because they wanted to have this party, and for some reason the killer, who we now know is Axel, turned around all the hearts so they were just upside down hearts, which is pretty strange, like almost as if there are crucifixes or something, like, oh, we put them upside down because we're evil, but they're just paper hearts. Like, imagine seeing like the security camera footage of that, like this guy brutally murdering someone, putting the heart into a box, and then very carefully, like maybe with a ladder or something, like turns around every heart in the room. That was pretty notable. And other than that, of course, it's on the day, and yeah, it doesn't really tie into it any further than that. But yeah, good movie.
Yay.
Anything more to say on it, or should we close it off?
I think we've said enough.
Yeah.
No.
Now everybody.
Hope for the remake.
Oh yeah. Well,
soon.
If you want to see us review or hear us review the remake of this film, called My Bloody Valentine 3D, but we're probably not gonna watch it in 3D. Leave a comment down below. But yeah, that's not really, for me at least, on the top of the list of the movies we can review. There are a bunch of other ones I'd like to review before that one. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Happy Valentine's Day, and if you want to see more from us, of course, we'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel. We have a bunch of new stuff coming, and we'd really appreciate it. And if you want to be actually notified, like really notified, press the bell. It really helps, I feel like. Because sometimes I don't even get some of my subscription, and it really infuriates me, to be frank. So,
thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, fucking YouTube, just fix your goddamn subscription function, because why do you need a fucking notification bell if the fucking sole purpose of the subscription button is already dead? If that's broken, don't have a replacement for something that's broken. Fix what is broken. Well, anyway, let's not rant too much about YouTube. So yeah, happy Valentine's Day, and of course, go have the sex. Well, if you want, of course.
Yes.
Bye.
I feel like that's a good way to end this.
Just kidding. You can't have sex. You're all just lonely, just like everyone else that's just watching this on Valentine's Day. You're not kidding anyone. We know. Kevin knew. I knew. Did you think we didn't know? Did you think we wouldn't find out? Okay, I'll stop rambling on. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.